love her.
Oh, I only got one bad report. I had her last week, and I got it tomorrow.
She helps with my headache.
She's just a lot different than VA.
Yeah.
VA, go in there 2 minutes.
So what
and out.
is this?
Yeah.
She,
But what I like about it
Right
too
up
is she
at
gonna
Draft.
keep coming back, coming back,
Oh,
coming
really?
back, like most chiropractors.
It's really nice.
You come back if you need to come
My
back.
kids, when they're in sports, are free. She does athletes and
Oh,
and
that's
school, like
nice.
middle
That's
school
really nice.
for free.
see, I got mine, the VA's paying for it.
That's good,
Yeah.
but I like
VA
her.
pays
Oh,
for it.
yeah, and I get to go in and have a regular visit and an hour massage.
You know what I have a hard time because I used to go to a chiropractor a lot. I miss the regular visits. I don't know what I think of the clicking tables.
See, I don't mind it.
What, oh,
I
that
don't
one?
feel like
Oh,
it
that
does
one?
as much.
Oh, it
for
does me, and I have lower back
Oh,
bad.
they say
When I'm
that's
running
it.
out there,
So she knows
Yeah,
how to
yeah,
work.
Amanda and somebody else from the office.
But I feel like when I went to the chiropractor before, like the
pretty-
table, like you
check
could
I
feel
have.
it, and I feel like, oh, relief. We're here, and like, oh, I might need this back again.
The only report I had bad about her was from Mike Gillis,
So what? I don't understand.
The chiropractor
He wouldn't
hurt
tell
her?
me, he wouldn't go into it.
Huh.
Well, my daughter had kind of like out of alignment, her whole back, she could hardly walk. And we went to doctors, we went all kinds of places, we went to her, and she was able to like,
Yeah, I like her.
so, yeah, she's been great with me.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Today I was feeling pretty good. Yesterday I was in pain.
Hmm.
One day I woke up, night before I went to see her, I woke up and,
Oh, it's your back? Yeah.
And I do like that you don't have to have an appointment, you just walk in. and
Yeah,
it's like-
that is nice.
Yeah, you don't have to have an appointment, you just walk
In the
in.
afternoon,
see, I
I
only
think
got 12
mornings
appointments.
they take appointments, and I think afternoon it's walk-ins. I think.
See, the VA will come to me for 12. That's why she's doing
Holy
the same
smokes.
thing and then massage after. That's why.
Some good input.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
almost
not
getting
good.
ripped off.
Do you?
She got me that for a holiday. Who you talking to? I can't remember who it was, and oh my gosh, they have several. But whoever I had, it was so amazing. It was,
An hour?
I love a massage.
it was.
Seemed like
Yeah.
an hour ago.
I've been to some of those that are like, you know, it's
Divided
a
by
business that it's like, sometimes it's too rough where you just
$250
even
a banner.
more achy afterwards, and I was like, oh, I don't like this. But he got it, and I was like, oh.
I don't want
She
one
did
too
it.
soft, and I don't
Yes.
want one too hard.
This was perfect.
Yeah,
It was,
I
like,
wanna know I've had a
amazing.
massage,
Yes.
yeah.
And they do like, around Christmas, they do specials. You get like an hour.
Oh, that's good.
I got.
My insurance doesn't, TRICARE
But I
doesn't
had-
take care of it, but
No,
VA
I had to,
does.
they had to go, no, they had to go through, what was the other?
Because I know Scott can
It's
get
when you,
So I'm trying to
if they
figure
can't
out,
get
so
you an
can-
appointment at VA, they'll take you.
Oh, yes.
I can't go to City Hall and pay my
She went on
utilities over
maternity
anymore.
leave when I had it. Thank God, because of what I've.
It's all online,
She's
I
different.
think.
Uh,
You have to do a different sign up.
I asked
I
her,
went to
"You
look
get
to see what the new process is.
Okay. I said,
Come on in,
"That's
I'll be
all
here."
of it."
No, he's not. He's got some childcare issues.
Yes, I understand.
Where's my pen?
Been there, done that.
Two times.
Yeah, so we canceled our,
No, I got it. I found it. Thank you.
Pocket?
we canceled our public works meeting because it was just gonna be me and, Tracy.
Yeah.
Do you think I can get these done in 2 minutes?
Travis's real first name is Arthur.
You're quick.
I was not aware of that. I've always known him as Travis. The poor guy is sicker than sick right now too.
He was sick at the last meeting,
He tested positive for COVID.
and I
So-
asked him when he was here with his mask
So
on.
he's hanging around with
Who
Barker.
is this?
Travis. Yeah, he was really sick. We was on the phone this morning. He was hacking up.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's bad. He says his whole house has it, and they're all down. I asked his wife, I said, "How you doing?" He goes, I think I might be dying." I was like, "Oh,
That's what-
okay."
After the last meeting, he said he felt like he was dying at that
He
point.
has been for a couple of weeks though.
Yeah,
He's been wearing a
that's
mask for a couple of
last
weeks.
But how can that be
Yeah.
if you're boosted and vaccinated, they can't get it, you can't spread
Well,
it?
there's different
That's
variants.
not true.
Yeah.
You
They
can-
get it worse sometimes.
Talk to the president, that's the bullshit. they
Yeah.
got, man.
Well,
So-
he found it again.
The president of our
Yeah.
association, our union, got COVID. hardly anything, got COVID again, hardly anything,
My
went and got
personal
the
thought,
vaccine,
it's gonna be
got
like
COVID
the
and
flu.
almost ended up dying. Like it's like the vaccine made it worse.
Yeah.
No.
Doug had the shot,
Oh, we don't. And then got sick.
and he, well, I thought I was gonna have to take him to the emergency room.
No, I remember
I
when he
never
said,
had
yeah,
it,
when yeah.
the shot.
Oh, you love it.
I
I had to keep my damn
won't say-
job.
I won't say never.
Yeah,
'cause
you never know,
say
you
never.
never know.
That's
I regret
right,
getting mine.
but I don't plan on it. But I could have walked every day, but,
You wanna push us into a corner.
cause I had a very, well, he had it.
Yeah, yeah.
I could have gone every day, but I stayed
Wow.
with him because I was.
Well, I've been very fortunate. I have been around hundreds of people every Saturday for
Oh, good.
2.5
Yeah, you- yeah,
years, and
yeah.
I've yet to.
I think at some point we've all had it.
Yeah, they sent you back or whatever, but I heard it's gonna be like the flu, it's gonna be around forever.
Second vaccine,
Everybody will eventually get it, some worse than others. That's why they had the flu shot, everybody wants to hear what it's
My
like.
guy just put, she just
She should have a little shot, get it through the season, it'll be fine.
I feel so bad. Okay.
I just want to hold China accountable for it. Let's not talk about it.
And I died, very mean fish.
You know, the only reason I got it now, I couldn't even words about it, but was because all of our.
30.
30 seconds, a minute. Oh, right on time.
I don't want to be the reason my husband doesn't see this.
Oh, it's
My,
better than
my family would come see us, just not my husband.
Yep, 6:30.
You ready, Mrs. Anderson?
I am ready.
All right, thank you very much. Oh, let me. Where is the?
So you're on mute.
Here comes the update.
I still am. I shouldn't be on. It doesn't. It says you're on mute.
Will does not have
I
it.
signed in.
You want me to mute myself?
No, you are muted, so if you wanna speak at the meeting, on GoToMeeting, you'll have to unmute.
Okay, unmuted. And am I record? Oh, and here's. Oh, this just looks different. Here we go. And I'm gonna record, or you're gonna record.
I'll let you.
Okay.
Say something.
Oh, it didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Testing, check, check, check.
Is your volume up?
Yeah.
I need to turn this, speaker.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. There we go.
This meeting is now being recorded.
We're not plugged in here. This.
Your mic's way over there.
Don't touch
Your mic's way over there.
Yeah, mine was like
You
facing you.
got a big screen now.
There we go. Whoa, that's a lot of will. All
I
right.
say, that's a wow.
Jeez Louise. Switch to. Would you like to activate headphones? Yes. Okay. Let's try now.
I'm not
Let's see
sure
if
if you're supposed to.
The
have that
record
plugged
thing
in
came
or
on
not.
up there.
Do you think we need to have it plugged in anymore?
We have the external speaker.
Okay.
You're,
Not
you're
100%
recording something.
I must be. Go back here.
Mike, down
Pause.
below.
It says it's off.
Okay, I'll just start recording and see what happens. We'll check it
Well,
during
now
the
it's not
It
break.
says your
recording.
mic's off.
On here it says
Now it
I'm
says
on.
record.
It says audio is off.
Mine's showing that I'm on.
Yeah, it says you
And
recording.
it's up there, it says I'm
That's
off.
my screen.
Oh, that's your screen. Okay, here we
So
go.
my mic is off.
All right.
Okay.
We'll try this, and if it record, we'll check it when we come out of session here. Good evening. It's 6:32 p.m. on Monday, August 1st, 2022. The City Council of Woodland will be going into a closed session. Into a closed session under RCW 42.30.140, Section 4, subsection B, collective bargaining. The RCW 42.30.110, Section 1 for potential litigation will not be discussed this evening. And with that, it is now 6:33, and we'll be in executive session until approximately.
Mayor?
Yes.
It's a closed session.
Closed?
The public the OPMA does not apply to it.
What? Okay. So we're good.
We're good.
So we just
You just go back and.
just go back. We don't need to give it a time limit.
Because it's about collective bargaining.
Collective bargaining, so no
That's
time limit.
exempt from the
Okay.
public meeting.
And with that, we'll see you soon. And there's that. And there's that. Okay.
actually.
My daughter,
We had a really nice leather, like, one that was like all different pieces, and it was a big L shape. It was huge. I loved it, but it was getting so back. So we got something smaller.
You ready, Mrs. Anderson?
Yes, small, but I love it. It's now automated. Oh, but it takes forever to close it out.
There's, can you read the sign? Good evening, everybody. The time is 7:01. It is Monday, August 1st, 2022. If I could please get everyone to silence your cell phones and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And after that, if you could please remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Earlier this week on Friday, we had a memorial service for former Mayor Chuck Blum, and I know that regardless of how you felt about him or his policies, I had the flags lowered to half mast on Friday through this morning to honor his service not only on City Council but also for the mayor from 2008 to 2012. I'd like to take a moment to have a moment of silence for Mayor Blum and the service that he's provided to our community. Thank you, everybody. All right, Mrs. Anderson, will you please take the roll?
Councilmember Burke?
Here.
Councilmember Rounds?
Here.
Councilmember Chapman?
Here.
Councilmember Smith? Councilmember Holland?
Oh, present.
Councilmember Rowland?
Here.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Here.
Councilmember Smith has called out this evening.
Make a motion to approve his absence.
Excuse.
second.
Motion by Councilmember Rounds to excuse Councilmember Smith, second by Councilmember Burke. Mrs. Anderson?
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
And Mr. Smith has been excused. Moving on to presentations this evening, we have the Humane Society of Cowlitz County Director, Chris Cohn, here. This time I'll have you step up here to the podium, introduce yourselves, and I know I just came out and met you and I've already forgotten your name. So I apologize. So please tell us who's with you as well this evening.
My name is Chris Cohn, and I'm the Executive Director and CEO for the Humane Society of Cowlitz County.
And I'm Officer Stan with the Animal Control. I'm the supervisor for Animal Control. Thank you.
Thank you for being here this evening. I know it's been a challenge to get down here, but I'm assuming that you're an extremely busy department. And you also are faced with some employee challenges, it sounds like, as everyone else these days. So with that, I think, do you have a presentation as
I
well
do.
this evening? Okay.
The second one?
Yep. I'm not going to read it word for word. I trust we all can read, but you'll get the gist.
Down at the bottom, the little screen next to the volume. Up, to the left, there, no, now go right, 2 icons, one more. There you go.
Right.
There you go. I felt like I was dancing just now. Thanks for the dance, Mr. Boyce.
Why don't you take it later?
So if we can go ahead and move forward with the. So if you're not aware, we are a shelter that we're committed to improving the animal welfare throughout throughout Cowlitz County, including the municipalities that reside within those within the county. Our goal is to eliminate cruelty and pet overpopulation and enforce animal laws and promoting lifetime adoption and spay-neuter programs, which you will hear me talk about later on. Next slide. It's a mission. The mission of the shelter and the mission of animal control have two different missions. The mission of animal control is truly to protect the health and safety of the residents and protect animals and promote their humane treatment. Being a rural county, we don't always see that. Here's what animal control actually does. They enforce the laws relating to animals, enforce the barking codes, just codes in general. We're not true dog catchers. We encourage the public to, if they could detain the animal, bring it down is the best policy. Otherwise, we can go out there and get it. We do address aggressive dogs, including bites, and sometimes murdered animals. Dogs eat other dogs, chickens, rabbits, cats, unfortunately. And we also provide an emergency clinic to those injured animals throughout the county. We also recover roadkill. We are up here quite a bit, especially in Ariel. Fun fact, my animal control officers have more public contact than your police department. Most animal control workers are paid by local governments employed, and their employment is dependent on the cities and towns that fund these agencies. Officers across Washington tend to make $26 to $33 an hour. However, our officers are only 18. Here's 2021 statistics for our shelter. You can see that animal intake is fairly high. You'll see that animal intake is countywide and is relatively comparative to Clark County. We have about 60 active volunteers that fulfill the role of paid employees. And they do about 3,800 hours of service for our animals. As of 2021, we were able to spay and neuter 764 animals for low-income individuals who cannot get into their local veterinarian here in town. Next slide. My community programs, or our community programs. We got the feline spay-neuter program for low income. Already talked about that. Licensing. We provide dog licenses for most of the municipalities within Cowlitz County. And we have a cat and kitten foster program that I just expanded into a dog foster program. We don't want these animals in our shelter. Shelters is where they get sick. Shelters is where they learn. It's like it's an imprisoned person. People are in prison for a long time, so they don't socialize very well. Same thing with animals. Other community programs, like I said, low-income spay-neuter, low-income vaccine clinics. Once again, addressing those the population that cannot afford to go in and see their veterinarian, but honestly, the average Joe can't go in and get see their veterinarian right now. Licensing, animal control, emergency support. We also take on an opportunity to teach individuals with disabilities and other, we'll say, law enforcement issues that they come in our shelter, and we teach them life skills. We also do humane euthanasia and cremation services, and community food program for the low-income families. So, and most of the time, we reach out and we read books to the children at some local elementary schools. So. Specific animal control statistics: the shelter took in 3,200, stray animals or so. Reignited, about 500 of those. A lot of complaints, and I do actually have Woodland numbers right here in front of me. So this is county-wide, but I actually have Woodland numbers, and I can go into those afterwards. It's the after-hour calls that are problematic, that really put my officers at risk, because a lot of times they don't know what they're stepping into. And then when individuals fight their tickets or their citations, my officers spend their time in courts working with attorneys. So this is what happens when an animal comes into my shelter. They get a physical exam. They get automatic vaccines, deworm, flea treatment, medical stabilization. What that is that most of the time the animals are in the shelter for a reason. They're sickly. Their owners couldn't take care of them. The burden to heal those animals lies upon us, and it's very expensive, as you probably know. And then we got redemption services as far as returning lost animals to their homes. Now we per contract, all of our animals stay off the adopt floor for 3 to 5 days. That means there's 3 to 5 days that an individual can come, hey, I lost my dog, do you have it? And when an animal comes into our shelter, it's automatically uploaded to, hey, this dog just came in, or this cat just came in. So they have an opportunity to come find their animal. So here's all the costs that we absorb as a agency. Microchip. Every animal that comes in and out, goes out of that facility, gets microchipped. The contract's only paid for 3 to 5 days. However, the average stay is probably about 3 months for some of these animals. So there's 3 dogs there that have been there longer than I have, and I've only been there a year. So the spay neuter, the medical care, just the cost of the facilities, and you guys know all this. Disease management, we're fortunate. There are other shelters in other surrounding counties that have regular feline and dog canine diseases running through their shelters. We run a very clean shelter, fortunately. And it's not always that agency's problem. That we take in animals from other areas that really desperately need to reduce the strain of populated shelters. Community education and resources. I'll go into that a little bit more later. I transport other animals to other shelters, including wildlife. I transferred a red-tailed hawk to the Audubon Society 2 weeks ago. And then, we do livestock, horses, cows, goats, sheep, pigs. And then a really big burden right now is the animal control vehicle maintenance. We maintain them, but guess what? We use them too. So here's where our revenue comes from. You can see about 60% of it comes from licensing, contracts, but you got 17 to 25%. I might just go a little bit higher than that as far as that's fundraising or special projects. The rest come from licensing and then adoptions. Here's my strategic plan. More important, this is number one: financial sustainability. Not only for just the shelter, but financial sustainability for my animal control division. Because once again, we have 2 different missions, 2 different entities. Increase awareness about our programs and services. I got a full-time veterinarian now. That starts September 1. I'm going to be able to come into places like Woodland and do low-income vaccine and spay and neuter clinics over a weekend. The veterinarians have really bought into that. Increased engagement training. Like I said, our officers deal with the public probably about 30% more than what your officers will deal with the general public. I want to increase the foster program for dogs and really get the trap, spay, neuter program off the ground. We're doing trap, spay, neuter right now, but because our full-time vet hasn't started yet, we're not able to. There's a wait list, unfortunately, and I take the low-income people first versus the strays. What's not on here is we have a brand new program called it's a pilot program that has to do with community cats, and I think we all know what a community cat is. If not, I'll educate you real quick. It's the neighborhood cat that everybody feeds. It has a home. It's in your guys' yards, and that's its living space. It's inhumane to put that cat in a shelter and then try to get us to adopt it out.
So what's the goal with that? I'm sorry, to trap
spay neuter them,
and then
put them back in.
And put 'em back. Okay.
Yeah. So I ask for grace and patience. I come from conservation and the scouting world when it comes to nonprofit executive management. I've only been with the Humane Society for about a year now. I was brought in to change the culture and give the shelter a true business model. And I'm proud I feel I've already done that. We've balanced the budget. I've restructured the whole organization, and we're functioning at a very high level. So right now, that was my presentation as far as what we are. You're probably asking, well, what about Woodland? What about Woodland? Well, I can tell you that so far today, we have 39 complaints that we've addressed here in Woodland. Last year, you had 41. We're already halfway there. We already have 42 patrol hours within city limits. That does not count the county surrounding you guys. But every time we come out to county, we're in here patrolling so that we're seen. So people license their dogs and walk their dogs with a leash and scoop their poop. And you've probably seen those officers mostly on Sundays out here patrolling the neighborhood because that's what I'd mandated. So I mandated that back a couple months ago. So we spent more time here than previous years, but guess what? It's not just Woodland. It's Castle Rock. It's Longview, Kelso. Everything's doubled, at least doubled. We're underfunded significantly. However, we've made it work. How the shelters made it work in the past, that's amazing. But a true business model would dictate that we're going to change things up, and we are. So I just want to be fair, and I want to serve, and I want to be a resource for Woodland, and remove the crutch when it comes to animal care, because the shelter's been a crutch since '72, and this is the time where we move from crutch to empowerment and serving the community as a resource. So, I'll take some questions.
Thank you, Mr. Cohn.
Yeah.
Questions? Mr. Burke?
Yeah, being is that, we rely on licensing fees.
Mhm.
What are we doing to make people get the licenses? In other words, anything we can do?
Well, Nate and I were just talking about that. You only have 105 licenses sold in Woodland.
I'm one of them.
Let's see, how many dogs do we have in town?
Yeah.
Yeah, just dogs.
And cats?
Well, that's where codes come into play, I think. That's where city codes come into play.
We do have a code, they have to have a license, but the only way to find out whether they get a license is to talk to them.
I've only met the veterinarian down here, out by.
Woodland Veterinary Clinic.
Yeah, I've just a couple times, and I've been trying to get in there, but we do sell licenses for them. The part of the problem is what we discussed. No one wants to drive up to Longview to buy it. So that's where we're going to try and streamline this to where it's easier for your residents to license their animal.
Is it
Well,
where?
you can get them at the vet.
Is it
Even if they're not your vet?
It's $10 if it's got its shots,
Yeah.
and it's $20 if you don't.
It's a lot easier to get them from your veterinarian, by the way.
But if it's not your vet, can you still get the license there?
Yeah,
Oh,
go there and get
okay.
the license.
That is easier than driving to Longview.
Yeah, and maybe the public doesn't know that. So, and maybe that's when I come down here for community events, like I was trying to come down here for the movie in the park, stuff. It didn't line up this year, but next year I hope to have a larger presence down here in your community events, and that's where we take that opportunity to educate the public.
From Planner's Day.
So that's when I was down here. I met with you the week that you guys were setting that up. So.
Or tomorrow night at the night out.
Oh yeah,
Our first one.
National Night. We're doing that, but unfortunately I have limited staff, and we have to stay as local as possible.
So that brings me to my question. How many officers do you actually have?
Right now, we have 3.
And how many would you have if you were full?
Or
Yeah.
What are you funded for?
What are you funded for?
We're funded for 2.
You're funded for 2 and you have 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Because 2 people need to sleep. So you have a 3rd person.
Well, and there's night call, but when I say funded, I mean that's what the contract will fund is to is, and I'm saying contract, not just Woodland, but the overall, all the municipalities. So
So is that, oh, go ahead.
I think 5 would be very sufficient. But in order to get there, I think there's a lot of change that needs to happen as far as unilateral codes across the whole county. So it's one and the same wherever you go. It's a lot easier to enforce what we do.
So is it also harder with you only having an $18 an hour rate
So that
to get people to come?
I've had this job posting open since January, and I've only been able to hire 2 that have stayed on, and 1 just left recently. And so yes, we're trying to hire a part-time now, see if that will work. So, but the $18 an hour, whereas Clark County, they start at 25 plus they get county benefits. I wish I can give my employees county benefits. No. I expect to lose an officer in the next 3 months because of the low wage.
Well, especially with inflation right now.
So is this, so I know we pay what, like
21 a year.
21,000 a year is what we give
Yes.
you?
Have we, Mr. Boyce, have we gotten to 21,000? Are we still paying on the old contract?
We're still paying on the,
Which was what?
21 a year.
What should we be paying?
I think it's
Oh, wait, no.
not that high.
You have the new contract in your time.
Oh,
The new contract's 21, I believe.
so it's
15.
50,000
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's bumping to 21 from that.
Well, that was supposed to be of January 1.
we were we were withholding funding until we saw you.
Well, I'll be
I
honest.
would say withholding. We just haven't.
Yeah.
We wanted a presentation to find out what exactly the services we're getting
Mhm.
before we actually signed that contract.
And it is not anything like anybody here being persnickety. I literally have come to meetings for like 6 years, and they've been asking for 6 years, every single year, for someone from the Humane Society to come up here. And so you're the first one, so good job, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for caring enough to come up here.
Well, it's my job to get in front of elected officials so that you see the need, so that you validate the need when you go to your taxpayers and ask them for a little bit more.
So we have the contract on here this evening, and Mr. Boyce and I talked about it today, and is it retroed in here?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we've been paying the old contract amount, so there's a slight difference. So we were hoping that this would be retroactive to January 1, and we paid that.
And what is the anticipated increase for 2023?
6%.
6%. How often how long are you going to keep that at 6%?
One year contracts, no more multi-year contracts.
Okay. Until you
We
figure
don't
out
know.
where
We don't
you
know
are.
what the economy's doing.
Okay.
It's over $5, almost $6 a gallon for gas.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
And what's the strategy for the officers then to get the, I mean, obviously we just talked about low wage.
Reinvest that into our officers with a higher pay scale.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Tracy, you have Ms. Coleman?
I do have a question. One of the comments you made during your presentation was the cap that
individual, the reporting person to bring the cat in. But we do have traps and we do have deterrents that assist neighbors. But Nate and I, or the team doesn't have a problem coming out and getting cats either.
So if the person brings them in, does it cost them anything
No.
since it's the community cat?
No.
Okay.
No.
Alright.
That's the key thing. It's free. Community cat program's free.
How long does it take to get it done?
My vet should be able to do about 20 to 30 spay neuters a day. So
A day?
a day.
Do you have a need for that?
Yes.
Holy Toledo.
We have
See how many free kittens are on Facebook all the time.
we have approximately 400 cats in foster and facility. That includes kittens.
So how can I deter them from being in my yard?
There's lots of cool things that are out there on Amazon. There are sprays. There's these little ear sensors. That's kind of like it annoys them, and so they don't come near it. But like if you got a bark area, there's these little spiky mat things that you put underneath the bark, and they don't like to step on
They
it.
drive my dogs crazy.
Well, I know. I reside in Clark County, and there's about a dozen community cats, and
They live in my wetlands
Yeah.
behind my house and have babies.
So I have a question, and you're probably not familiar with Woodland Municipal Code.
that's why I brought him.
But our stuff, so maybe you do. It's like archaic and it's from the 90s.
Yes.
And so my question to Travis Goddard, who is our community development person and who oversees the code, was something that was alarming to me was that in our code, and I asked him to maybe revisit this with you guys, was that it says that within 72 hours of picking up an animal in Woodland, you euthanize. You are authorized to euthanize them. And I found that to be kind of disconcerting because, like, what if you're out of town and you don't even know your dog's running amok and then come back? I wouldn't think that you guys would be just gunning to euthanize animals to free up
So-
space, but.
Like, at least with the other, you want me to stand up and talk, or?
Or you can sit there, I don't,
Okay.
you're fine.
So basically, at least with the other codes, is after 72 hours, they legally become the humane societies.
Mm-hmm.
So that means basically we can do what we want with the animal. So
Correct.
we'll hold the animal for 72 hours for an owner to come. Now, with that said, lots of times, it's after the 72 hours, we'll still have them reclaim their animal. Now there's fees, attached to that,
Right.
for boarding, impound.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I know for like what we've talked about, the humane society, even though legal is 72 hours, we typically hold for 7 days. For them before we say it's like our animal.
Gotcha.
We realize life happens, and that people go to Hawaii for vacation, and their dog breaks through their window, or the cats escape because Sister accidentally let them out. So I realize that, and even if it's past those 7 days, I'll work with an individual. If you can prove ownership, then it's yours. Just pay the fees. However, if it's a dog, how do you prove ownership?
Pictures.
Because I could be holding some dog and on somebody's couch and say, hey, this is, my dog. Licenses.
Gotcha. So is there a way, I know that you said people would have to go to the vet to get licenses, and I don't want to add an additional task to City Hall, but is that maybe an avenue that City Hall could issue
So I've got some notes already.
licenses?
Yeah.
Because it seems like if you're on that side of town, that might be easier
Yeah.
than going across town. We used to have more vets than we do now, and so they've kind of.
Well, Tracy's new office is in the old vet clinic, so
There.
we bought that building, so.
But maybe that's an.
Used to be the same now.
But that would be great, because I'll tell you, I get mine, and then I'm like, oh, it's December 31st, I need to go pay this. And I'm like, oh, Longview, I gotta get up there. And
The nationwide shortage of veterinarians is disturbing as well.
Right.
And
It's a long schooling process, and with the cost involved with people's student loans, I think is probably.
yeah,
Oh, it's discouraging.
So, as you probably know, have you guys been to our facility?
No.
It's,
But you don't do the drop, well, yes, I have, but it.
yeah, we don't do that Dropbox thing
The
anymore.
drop box and you close the door and
Yeah.
walk away. Yeah.
No, it's built in the 70s. What happens with buildings that are built in the 70s, they need to be rebuilt. So so unfortunately I have massive construction issues with our buildings, and we have to rebuild. And I know this is a conversation for another time when I come back down here again, but we are rebuilding, and we're turning that facility. We're going to turn that facility into a regional facility with a full-time veterinarian, with an up-to-date veterinary clinic that the public can take advantage of, not just a low income, but working with the local veterinarians across Cowlitz County who say, yeah, if you can take them, because it's better to take in their clients and have their animals serviced than to have them ignored. So, and most vets have been very receptive to that. But with that comes money. So.
What is the daily rate for, so do you not charge for the first 72 hours?
No, we do charge for the first 72. Do you have those numbers? Oh,
Yeah,
so do
that's
I.
it.
They're my phone.
When we first moved here. You guys had my dog when I first moved here. Got out of his leash and took off. We didn't realize it.
So, impound fees, so it's a first, second, third basis. So for the first impound fee is $15. Second impound is $25, and then third is $40, and then anything after that within a 12-month period, it goes up to $60.
And so it's $15 per day.
That's just the impound.
That's the impound fee. So what
Just impound.
do you charge for housing?
$8 per day.
Oh, okay.
Which
Okay.
Wow.
That's not that much. Yeah. So not to come get my.
They get
my
walked
little
3
baby.
times a day. They get their bedding changed out 2 times a day. Of course, they get 3 meals. Sometimes they get bathed. Sometimes, you know.
Doggy daycare.
If I go on vacation, I want to take my dog.
No letting dogs out.
I don't think it's a kennel facility. It's not a boarding facility. That should not be part of your plan.
I'm just saying.
Not that I want you to raise your rates or anything, but I know for Woodland it's only $10 a year. And as long as I've lived here, it's been $10 a year. Do you guys plan on any increases to the licensing fees?
So, I'm glad you asked that question because
We've had this discussion at length.
I was talking with Nate about this. I would like to be the same as the county to the south.
And
Which
how much
is?
that?
I believe I pay $55 about.
And then you will have 5 people register their dogs.
But exactly, and that's why I can't raise my rates to how other counties like Oregon or other shelters like Seattle and Oregon Humane. I can't raise my rates to recoup the costs because then our animals will stay in house. People come to us all over the state of Washington and Oregon to adopt our dogs because we're affordable.
When was the last time that rate was is it, so I guess the first question is, I'm remembering back to other conversations with this council years ago. Is it the same for every municipality in the county? We're not, and
No.
we are the lowest, aren't we?
The
Yes.
lowest.
Yes.
So,
And yeah, no.
like, I believe Longview, councils like that, for an animal that's not fixed is 35, whereas in Woodland it's 30.
Okay.
If the animal is fixed, everywhere else is 15, whereas Woodland is 10.
And I think that's the minimum, is the minimum ask is to be the same as
Consistent.
probably the other municipalities that we serve.
And that's an action of the council to make that happen, okay. Is that, I'm assuming that's the fee schedule?
I believe it's on the fee schedule.
Okay.
And I think it might be like if the city could throw something in the utility bill or something, I mean, I think it sounds like from what I've understood from years and years of following the massive turnover rate of people in charge of the Humane Society. And it sounds like you have your act together, you personally, so you
Thank you.
kind of know what you're doing. I think like me personally, I would feel more comfortable, like giving, on a personal level, giving to the Humane Society. Before, it was not, it wasn't like it was a place that you felt comfortable giving your money to, because you had no idea what was being done. And I come from a background similar to yours, where you take on a nonprofit that is incredibly, has a lot of challenges, and then you have a lot to get through, and then once you get there, then you can move forward. And so I've been there and I get it, but I think we as a community could be more proactive in promoting people getting their dogs licensed, and promoting the fact that you're now going, those things would help pay for spay and neuter programs, because there's a lot of people I know that on Saturdays I run the local food bank, and the same people have litter after litter after litter after litter they are trying to get rid of. As soon as that animal can breed again, there's more. And so they could be a very good, they would be a very good one to send your direction when you have that kind of program, or if you were able to come to Woodland and offer that kind of program.
Yeah, just gotta retrofit a trailer that's not being used, that was purchased for emergency purposes, that can be very much turned into a mobile clinic. So,
Yes, Ms. Rowland.
Could Woodland maybe declare like a day for pet licensing? Like make it a city, like not like a city, you know how they do that, and then that way it's a planned thing. They could have that person available, and people can come to the park to get their dog licenses, and then their dog can play with each other and all that. Like, but make it like a, just like a day thing for Woodland.
We can absolutely look into that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you send? I know that our codes don't align either, and we're slowly working through all our codes of retooling it. Can you send us exactly? Is everybody else consistent across the board? No. Okay.
I know there's been talks before.
yeah, they're open to getting
Okay.
there.
Okay.
So it's,
Is there a city or is there a municipality that we should be modeling ourselves after?
well,
Our size.
it's a loaded question, sir.
Our size.
Who's doing the best in Cowlitz County? Like,
Longview probably.
I would say each one has their own issues with
Yeah.
codes. I guess, like, for example, the county has a mistreatment ticket. It doesn't meet like animal cruelty, but it's something, hey, you're mistreating your animal, which is a decent sized ticket. There, as far as I know, they're about the only one that has that, where it's just a ticket, not a, like a misdemeanor or a gross misdemeanor, where it's a,
Do the deputies write that?
no.
Just you. Okay.
Deputies can.
They can.
But
Okay.
we are the ones that we deal with the animals and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so
Okay.
we write them. You know, like for example, the tickets here, I don't know if we've had more and more enforcement wise on this, but they're $25.
Okay.
For basically any type of ticket. They're $25. I had actually like Kelso, which is like $237, $238, I believe.
Oh wow.
so $25 doesn't even pay your gas to come here to write the ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I've had people say, well, it's not worth me going to court if they're like my witness, if for a $25 ticket.
Yeah.
Clark.
Okay.
And the tickets just fought for any type of.
Well, and we don't receive the citation money. That money does not come to us.
Does it go just to the court, or does it come back to the municipality?
It goes to the municipality.
Okay.
So, yeah, just food for thought. We don't actually get that money. You guys get it. But what it does is that it's enforcement. It's accountability. And I
But it
like.
would also offset the cost of the 6% increase.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if we were actually charging what it costs for them to be here.
Well, a higher cost for hurting an animal would probably deter people from doing it more than
You hope.
25. You'd hope,
Yeah, you'd
yes,
hope.
but
Okay.
Yeah. And there is stuff in your code about like gross misdemeanor, misdemeanor, stuff like that. But then whoever doesn't quite meet that was like, okay, this isn't really something, animal
Any other questions?
To answer your question, sir, probably Castle Rock and you guys are the same population size. You guys are bigger than Castle Rock, but, yeah. But of all of the municipalities, to just be yourselves. I'll just say that. You guys are doing a good job.
And I saw on your slide that Kalama is not part of this.
No, but the
Why
chief
is that?
wants it.
Why are they not?
The elected officials have not come to the conclusion that they need it.
Gotcha.
But it's really interesting that a lot of things happen on the county line,
Weird.
the city line, yeah.
How interesting is that? Yeah.
So-
Just outside the city
Yeah.
limits.
But no, to be very serious, my conversations with the chief of police there, he really wants the city to move that direction. I just gotta get in front of him like I did with you guys
Okay.
and sell myself to him.
Gotcha.
So does that mean you guys do not service inside city limits for Kalama?
Correct.
Awesome.
So you did say that you have a few dogs up for adoption that have been there for over a year.
Mhm.
So we would be able to find them on your website.
Mhm.
Okay.
They're adoptable, but when animals come into the shelter, they're there for a reason. They're either dog aggressive, kid aggressive, cat aggressive, male aggressive. Yeah, so every dog has a different personality. But yeah, my goal is to get every dog and cat out of there as soon as possible, and that's why you'll see me with sales occasionally, themed sales. So, but we've already lost dollars, but now we're even losing more. So, but it's better that happen and me fundraise a little extra, or go to you guys and say I need a little extra, than to have the inhumane treatment of, well, they're not going to be treated inhumane, but just being there sometimes could be inhumane. So, especially if they've been there for over a year.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Appreciate
you coming
you.
down tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no one signed up for citizen communications, and we have a ton of people in the gallery. So if anyone failed to sign up, now's your opportunity to step forward for anything. And we have no one online, which is weird. I mean, there was so much conversation going on Facebook and social media this last week. I'm surprised that they're not beating down our door. What's that?
They already got another system.
No, they got another system. Got it. All right. So moving on from citizen communications for items on and off the agenda, not on the agenda. At this time, I ask that council, we missed one item on the consent agenda, which was applicant for civil service, which is to appoint Janice Graham for Civil Service Commission. I ask that before agenda approval that be added onto the consent agenda. It's just on my notes. Here, just put it on there. Yeah, just didn't actually move it on there.
I- It is on the
I
one
thought so.
online.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah, reports. Mayor, appoint Janice Graham.
Yeah, that was just a note for me, but we need it we need it actually on there. We need it placed in the consent agenda. So we're at that portion of the meeting.
I make a motion to accept the agenda with the addition of the mayor appointing Janice Graham for Civil Service Commission.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Brown, second by Councilmember Rowland. Mrs. Anderson.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland?
Aye.
The agenda has been approved with that addition. Moving on to reports of City Council. Mrs. Rounds.
I did go to the celebration of life for past Mayor Chuck Plum. It was very nice, actually. and saw a lot of people I hadn't seen for a while, so.
All right, seeing no one else, moving on to reports of standing committees. Public safety met on the 18th. Did we already give that report though?
No. we
Oh,
got it right
okay.
here.
Oh, it's Public Works that got canceled. Okay.
We saved it for tonight.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Okay, we met on, like the mayor said, on, July the 18th at 5:01, and, Councilmember Chapman, myself, and Councilmember Rowland was there, and, Chief, of course. Police, there was no, nothing for new business other than the police department. Chief Kelly informed the committee of 2 new laws that have gone into effect. The first one is RCW 9.41.305, unlawful weapon carry 6/9/2022. This new law affects individuals attempting to carry any weapon while entering a city facility, area being used for public meetings or hearings of boards, council members, or committees. Signs will be posted in all city areas where above gathering occur. As this is a new law, City Council will be asked to approve an ordinance adopting the RCW into the municipal code for enforcement at the municipal level. Currently, the law is enforced through the county prosecuting attorney's office. The second one is RCW 7.105, Civil Protection Orders dated 7/1/2022. This new law enhances the existing law to prosecute violations of civil orders. As this is an updated law with new revisions, the City Council will be asked to approve the ordinance adopting RCW into the municipal code for enforcement at the municipal level. Currently, the law is enforced through Cowlitz County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. And the Public Safety Committee discussed the implementation of a new, less lethal platform for the PD. Chief Kelly has researched the cost of converting the department's existing shotgun inventory to a less lethal option for officers to use in the field. Chief Kelly presented the Public Safety Committee with the options on cost at a future Public Safety meeting. The Public Safety Committee asked Chief Kelly to research establishing a UAV, which is a drone program. More information to follow. There was no old business. We adjourned at 5:39. And our next meeting will probably be the first, I would.
It's on the 5th.
The 5th, okay.
The 4th is 4th a Monday? That must be Labor Day. Did I get that right? I think I can't see the calendar, but I think so. Yeah, we're on it. We're on Tuesday that night. All right, thank you, Mrs. Rounds. Public Works meeting was canceled this evening, and the next meeting will be on the 5th of September as well. Moving on to reports of advisory committees, Cowlitz Waukiakan Council of Governments. I attended the meeting last week, and also the executive board, which I sit on. We talked about a number of things. The biggest one was similar to the conversation we had this evening about rates. As a executive committee, we got together and I had asked that the fees that we pay every year are not what they should be. We are being subsidized as a city by some of the larger cities, so we are doing a calculation. So the folks that pay into that are there's only 5 entities in Cowlitz County that pay. I'm getting this confused with 2 different things, I'm sorry. We're doing an evaluation of the matching program that has to be done, and then also our annual fees that occur as well, our membership fees. So I've asked that fairness be given to all cities, to include ourselves, even though that we are a recipient of over fairness, I would say, and that those fees be recalculated and data coming back to us on what exactly that should be. So right now, I think currently we pay like $1,100 or $1,400 a year for membership into the COG. That will probably more than likely go up. Not substantially, but probably closer to the $1,800 to $2,000 mark is what we should be paying. In light of that, I was a little disappointed as I scream fairness all the time in here. We're taking advantage of some of our sister cities here in the county, so expect to see some more of that coming. And then also the other program as well, where they will be including us in, and I believe the Port of Woodland as well as part of this list, 6 entities within the county that will be added. And I'm looking at Mrs. Ray Keene because I cannot remember for the life of me. We get money every year into the county from the state, and a percentage of that. No, I'm getting this wrong, aren't I? I'll just stop talking. I'll have them come down and give a presentation. All I know is I said the same thing then. It seems like there needs to be some fairness that comes with whatever that fee is as well. So, which puts the onus on the county on that one. And Mr. Weber was on there, and we tried to have a conversation of that he should just pay the whole thing, but he didn't go for it. But so on one end, Woodland will be impacted, and on the other end, the county is going to be impacted just due to fairness. So, and then Laura Ives with the Economic Development. It's not council. Administration will be down on Wednesday for a meeting. We'll be meeting over at the port office with myself and Mr. Boyce. I don't have the list of attendees in front of me. And I believe she's giving a presentation or we're just having a conversation about economic development. That sounds probably more of the case. And then I'll be heading up for lunch into Longview with the other mayors and Laura Ives, the representative from the EDA. Nailed it. That's a hard one for me. There's a lot of acronyms that happen during those meetings, and then I can't keep up with them. But I'm trying really hard to stay engaged with that. As far as AWC and legislative, I've already started conversations. I think I've already let you know this about our upcoming ledge session in January. I'm already making my way around trying to figure out what exactly we should be asking for, what we should be supporting, what we should be asking for changes. So more to come on that. We'll probably have a workshop probably about October. But I'm compiling that list now, having another conversation about that today. And DWR, Ms. Coleman.
So we met this last Thursday at 1 o'clock at the community center, and we discussed increasing our boundary footprint for DWR to be able to work towards exit 21 for revitalization of downtown. We also talked about sharing the costs with the city for the flower baskets downtown, and then also they decided to sponsor Hot Summer Night Foods in the park as well. They will be coming to the city in regards to LTAC dollars in the future, and then they want to take their capital dollars that they have. They want to take their money they have in the bank and put it towards a capital project in the city. Want to partner with the city for a future capital project. So that's kind of what they're working on right now. We also are working on updating our website and then getting letters out to business owners, all business owners in Woodland to become part of DWR. Last year we went from 0 to 1 member to like 18 members by sending letters out. So we'll be sending those out again in the next couple weeks, and then they want to make representation down at the after hours on Tuesday, tomorrow night with the police department. The next meeting September, I think it's 17th. Let me double check here. Let me get, I'm gonna have to double check what that next meeting is. I don't have it off the top of my head.
Mr. Burke?
How come I was invited from my committee?
Mr. Burke, I am not sure of the answer to that because, as far as I remember, that the email went out to all the attendees from the time before that, but I know why. Because, when you were sick, you asked to no longer be on the DWR, so you were taken off at that time. You're not the treasurer anymore. It went to Loda.
Yeah, but I was appointed when I took over
yes, we have a website that we just started. The website went down. It used to be a GoDaddy website, now we're starting a brand new website, so it's
Gotcha.
just getting up and running. So we haven't advertised it too much yet, but it is up, but we don't have all the full information on it yet. We just
Gotcha.
have basic information. But we're working on that with Denise and the chief.
All right, thank you, Ms. Coleman. Moving on to reports. I have a few items to go. So I met with the mayors of Cowlitz County last week. Senator Jeff Wilson attended our lunch at the, I want to call it Grants. It was at the Monticello. So I think that's the name of the restaurant's Grants. We ate outside. It was wonderful. It was great. Always nice getting together with the other mayors and listening to their struggles. And then I just tell them how wonderful things are in Woodland. So they're all so jealous. Unfortunately, Senator Wilson is not our representative, but Longview's representative. We have Senator Braun, so it was just nice to chat with him and just about things going on in Olympia. So we've got another lunch scheduled in September, I believe, or this month, which I can't attend, but I'll be hosting the one in September. And we're planning a workshop with the Clark mayors and the Cowlitz mayors, so we can get together and talk, because it's very interesting to see, being in Woodland, get an opportunity to get with both groups, because we have Clark and Cowlitz County. It's interesting to see the different dynamics that are happening in Clark County versus what's happening in Cowlitz County, and the struggles that one county has versus what the other struggle has. For example, right now Cowlitz County mayors are struggling with document recording fees. They don't get them. So they're trying to figure out and get those questions and helping them kind of work through that process a little bit and give them our documentation. And where up here in our neck of the woods we have issues with Humane Society. And what services are we actually getting, and why are our costs always going up? And then also what our county commissioners, some of our county commissioners are doing. So it's just nice to see the different dynamics. I want to talk about this that has been given to you this evening on your desk. This is I'm asking that you approve the, as of today, and it's going to be action item, or is it in the consent? Did we already approve? We already approved this, didn't we?
Consent.
Last time. The late fees and oh, here it is. Resolution 749, consent item D. That's what I was looking for. So this is a letter that we're hoping that you approve this evening, so we can get back to normal, which implements disconnection fees, reconnection fees, late fees, all those things that we were doing pre-COVID. We're no longer in that emergency, and the governor has lifted that moratorium on disconnections and non-payment for utilities, and we'd like to get back to that. So this is a mailing that will be going out once approved, hopefully this evening, to all residents. But I want to, yes.
I got it.
Oh, you already got it?
Actually,
Yes.
the mailing's already gone out. It's a little
Oh.
bit separate from, that talks more about the Minol transition.
Got you.
Right.
Oh, this is the transition. Here we go, on the back. Yes, okay. Perfect. When did you get it? I guess I should probably check my mail.
Yesterday or today, I
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was mailed on Friday. So, and I want to speak to the portion on the back. Yes.
Yes, but I have a question. So if these came out in the mail, this is different than what somebody posted online. So did the people who got them in the mail already, did it get revised for our
We had a-
pleasure?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
We did have an initial draft that we had released that we went over with staff to make changes. Once we made changes, then we released the document.
I guess that's what I was going to speak to. It appears that this
So-
document was posted online, which is different than what is in front of you. So we're not sure how that draft was posted. out there.
Released to the wild?
Yes, because we don't have a public disclosure request or anything that would show a request for this document, because it is a public document, but it was a working document. The working document is the one that was released. So I know there was a lot of comments that were made on Facebook, and for all of you watching at home and online, that was a lot of inaccurate information that was stated. We didn't fire anyone. We haven't fired anyone. We haven't demoted anyone. We haven't all the statements that were made. So we're working the best that we can to communicate with the community. We weren't there yet, and we're there now. Obviously, it's gone out. So I just want to make sure that those that are reading the document online on Facebook, your ultimate news source, is not an accurate document, and the one that you receive in the mail is the one that you should be paying attention to.
Cause it does, this, what we're seeing, just so anybody who's not watching understands, that the resolutions and stuff that are on here are different, and so.
This is the accurate copy.
Right, the
Yes.
other one has a couple, and like, yes, just because we vote on things doesn't mean that we have a Rolodex of all of them in our brain, and we click on the links too to read them, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole lot more on this than what you're gonna get in your mailbox than what maybe you saw on the interwebs, so.
Yes. So I would just encourage everyone to look at the document that's coming from the city and not what is being posted online somehow.
Or maybe look into finding out whether or not the city's computers have been hacked. Maybe you need your IT guy.
Maybe.
Maybe
that's-
we got a hacker. I'm just,
Okay.
just throwing that out.
Okay. Mr. Boyce. Oh wait, Miss Holland. Unless Mrs.
No, I
Holland,
was
unless you
just
have
gonna
more.
say I watched a lot of 80s and 90s movies when hacking was still a thing.
No, it's possible we could have been
So-
attacked, perhaps, and from the outside.
As
Mr.
far as
Boyce.
I know, our
I think it's
system is secure.
Yes. So please, no one panic. We're confident in our IT and our firewalls or whatever it is that they do to protect us. We're just still unclear how this actually made its way out into the public at this time. Mr. Boyce.
We got a benefit, so.
So I did wanna comment on item G, or, I'm sorry, item C, the memorandum of understanding and
Mm.
the consent agenda. At the time the city entered into the collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters Clerical Unit. One of the items we talked about was separate standalone MOU related to the utility clerk. That's what this is. So, in good faith, we're doing a follow through. The union has requested that we do. And, we strongly recommend city council adopt that MOU as part of the consent agenda. Also, I wanted to make a mention and encourage anyone who can to attend the National Night Out tomorrow night, Horseshoe Lake Park, 6 to 8. Police and fire will be there, and hopefully it'll be a good connection with the community. So please attend.
This is our first year hosting this. This is something that happens annually, and this is our first year that we're actually holding this. So I'm very excited that the chief put this together. We have a number of organizations coming out to help support that, to include this Washington State Patrol.
That's 6 p.m.
Yes.
Yes, 6 to 8.
At the lake?
Who
Yes.
works there?
I know a guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to be there. But I have prior engagement, so.
And also Hot Summer Nights is continuing, so please attend when possible, Friday nights.
Try to get
They
there too.
are hot.
Yeah.
As
Legitimately.
When is the last one?
Hopefully this Friday won't be as hot.
3 weeks from now, we don't have one this Friday, but we have one the following Friday, and one after that, I think it's
Let's
August.
heat back up again.
I also wanted to mention, item F, the strategic plan is on the agenda. We had gone over that with the city council in their previous retreat. We reformatted the strategic plan, and we're hoping for adoption by council. That's what I have right now.
Questions for Mr. Boyce? Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Mr. Randolph, do you have anything for us this evening?
Nothing to report, sir.
All right. Mrs. Anderson.
I lost my report,
Dog ate it.
My dog ate my report.
See, we do have a hack.
We'll get you. It was probably hacked. Yes, that was. Yeah, somebody stole it.
reported about numbers.
Ms. Coleman, do you have anything else for council this evening? All right, thank you very much. Mr. Goddard did have a presentation for you this evening. As you see, he's not with us this evening, but we are wishing him well as he is recovering at home from an illness. So Moving on to consent items.
Move to approve consent items.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Chapman, second by Councilmember Rowland. Mrs. Anderson.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Consent items have passed to include the addition of Mrs. Graham to the Civil Service Commission. Moving on to action items. Action item E, ordinance number 1519, second quarter 2002 budget amendments, first and final reading.
Make a motion for action item E, ordinance number 1519, second quarter 2022 budget amendment, first and final reading.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Rounds, second by Councilmember Rowland. Councilmember Rounds.
It's just amending some things that need to be done, basically.
Councilmember Rowland.
No additional comment.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Anderson, will you please take the roll on action item E, ordinance number 1519, first and final reading.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Action item E has passed. Moving on to action item F, strategic plan.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Burke, seconded by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Burke.
That looked good.
Councilmember Rounds.
I agree.
Further discussion? Mrs. Anderson, seeing none. Action item E, strategic plan.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Oh, F, sorry. I'm sorry, Mrs. Anderson. This is action item F. I said E. Action item F.
Oh, sorry. Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Action item F is passed. Moving on to action item G, authorize mayor to sign contract with the Humane Society of Cowlitz County.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Dowdy, second by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Dowdy.
I definitely think the increase is necessary from our old contract, and I think that they're providing a service that we need to continue to use.
Councilmember Rounds.
Well, I was impressed with the presentation we had tonight. I think they finally got their act together. And I like what it sounds like they're doing, taking care of the animals, and so I think we need to do it.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Anderson, please take the roll on action item G, authorize mayor to sign contract with the Humane Society of Cowlitz County.
Councilmember Rowland?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
And action item G has been passed. Councilmember Burke.
Do we have a consent item letter for, Janice?
It would be consent, that's a great, A, B, C, D, and into E. Mrs. Anderson. Consent item for the appointment of Janice Graham.
I wasn't aware it was they were just, the council just confirmed it. You were appointing.
We put it on, they put it on the consent agenda. Does it need a letter attached to it?
Well, the letter is just for organizational purposes, so
Okay.
as long as council, and let's clarify now, council adopted the nomination for Janice Graham for Civil Service Committee as part of consent, just to make sure it's part
Agreed.
of the record.
Yes.
Aye.
Hearing a lot of-
Aye.
Aye.
Don't need to
All in
vote for it.
favor?
Consensus, okay.
Yes.
Make sure we have it.
All right, we've come to the end of our meeting.
Make a motion to end the meeting.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Round, seconded by Councilmember Rowland. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The time is now 8:10. Thank you, everybody.
Has anyone ever said no before?
Sometimes,
Oh,
yes, they
yeah.
have actually.
Oh, yeah, we walked right out on them.
During budget season, I'm ready to go past 10.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?